So I just asked Jesus. Jesus, is our only function to laugh? And hear what he says. Yes. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's it. Let's make it simple. Let's start with that. Oh my gosh. Just ask Jesus. Jesus, is our only function to laugh? We got an echo. I'm in stereo, triple stereo. I'm in Spanish and in English 2 times. So thank you, Jesus, for bringing us together. What a blessed group of mighty companions. Our only function being to celebrate holiness. In looking, I was joining with Lori this morning, and it was such a great reminder. What's our only function? And listen to Jesus, and I can hear him already. Look with me. That's our function. And then he takes care of everything else. Ask him, Jesus, like, is my only function to look with you, and then you'll take care of everything else and follow those 3 things. 2 things, look and follow. And that's the 3rd thing. He takes care of it all for us. Ask him so you can hear that from him. Yeah, I mean, how beloved it is. He says, yes, and he said that yesterday. You made this commitment to the course, to yourself as divine being. How can I not be with you? Aw. How can I not be with you? When your only desire is to see what's true. To be with God, the Father, to put God the Father first as he made you. How can I not be with you? And we need to hear those words. I need to hear those words. I need to say those words. An acknowledgement of who I belong to, who we all belong to. That there's no one else outside of us who can take heaven from us, to take everything, all the light given by the Father to his Son, to finally admit it can't be taken away. And even if we want to toss it out of our mind, boot it, give it the boot, the light, it's still here. And we can see that, how much the play is to chase light out of awareness, try to. Yet we start to see how much that hurts. So we have to come together so we can laugh about the impossibility and see it. I mean, that's the true laughter. The true laughter is when we like, holy smokes, it is absolutely impossible. Oh my gosh, Kelly did the most beautiful, and you have to post that soon, reminder of this little kid laughing. That's the happy laughter. That it's impossible. We can't be apart from the Father. We're one with the Father. There isn't another way of it. We can try all kinds of ways. Consciousness is a play of a diversity of ways of avoiding looking. That's all consciousness is. Avoid looking to see what's already obvious. Like Tony Parsons' book, The Open Secret. It's the desire for an experience where it seems like God is a secret out of our minds, out of the mind. That God is elsewhere. That God is something we have to track down and hunt for and seek. So Jesus turns that seeking mechanism on its head and goes, instead of seeking in the world, seek for one thing, God and his kingdom within. and cease to deny it. We're just admitting the big fat no. Let's see how prevalent that is in the mind. How prevalent the desire for the tiny mad idea experience. The desire for insanity. Jesus, do I desire insanity? But it's at least we can admit it. That's what all he's saying. Honesty of God. Honesty of God includes see that you're light, admit that you don't want to experience yourself as light, admit the denial, and ask for miracles. And it doesn't have at the end, and when you do this, I'm going to strike you dead. It doesn't have these in it. Because that's a play in consciousness to make the light scary, the boogeyman, the devil. Just ask him, is that a play in consciousness only to make, it's the only way consciousness can exist, he says. The only way consciousness can exist is to make the light scary, to make what we already are, the infinite, seem fearful. So he's reminding me, as long as you stay at the level of desire, the wanting of experience, you won't be scared. You won't feel, fear. You'll see how difficult it, because it's before the split. Fear always rises out of the desire for it. So just know if you're feeling fear, oh, okay, I'm desiring this. I'm desiring the miscreation of fear. You can ask them because everyone can hear them. And stay with me. He says, stay with me. Hold my hand. It's when we don't reach out. See, reach out for a brother. Reach out. We just pull in like a little turtle, the turtle effect. That's so hilarious because, when you start to see that, I've talked about that kind of that beautiful scene that's so great in Joker, he empties out the refrigerator and crawls in. And that's the play in consciousness to like pull our little hand, I'm resisting. I'm just resisting all the love that's here. I don't want to see it. That's the play of consciousness. But we're walking around all day being a turtle with everything pulled in, but we don't see it. We're not even aware of it. Ask Jesus. Jesus, am I even aware of when I'm doing turtle? Like pulling in and being that little shell protection. See, inside that shell, you're going to be serious miracle constipation in there because the love can't get in or out. See, we're just pulling, and it's really just the way consciousness plays to deny. It wants to crawl into a refrigerator to get away from things. See, it wants to get away. So what we get away from is, okay, wherever it seems that we really have to look to see what's true. So it seems to be like a circumstance. Oh, I don't want to get close to that. Mm-mm. And we avoid it. But wherever we're avoiding something is where we need to look most. Ask Jesus. To really, he's just reiterating over and over, stepping into the fire of truth. It is a fire. But as Muji says, it's a fire that burns, but it will not burn who you are. It's the fire of the Holy Spirit to burn out what we're not. And in the play of consciousness, it can seem like burning. It can seem like something's burning. Just find the one who's burning. See if there's the light's getting, is its temperature changing one little tiny bit? Does the light's temperature change? everything that is moving is untrue. Jesus, is everything that's moving untrue? So in the final lessons, he reminds me we just need one. Okay, let's get this one really all the way. Saves a lot of time. He says, yes, it'll save a lot of time. Introduction. Our final lessons will be left as free of words as possible. We use them, but at the beginning of our practicing, and only to remind us that we seek to go beyond them. Let us turn to him who leads the way and makes our footsteps sure. To him we leave these lessons, as to him we give our lives henceforth. Jesus, am I willing to give my life to you? It's your only happiness, this. You can't be happy without giving your life, because you think you own your life, but the life you think you own is death. You think you own death. To own anything is death. To give your life to God is just merely to admit that you've never owned anything, that your life itself, the only life there is, which is one with the Father. You can ask Jesus, is this the only life there is the life of the Father? That's eternal, infinite life. For we would not return again to the belief in sin that made the world seem ugly and unsafe, attacking and destroying, dangerous in all its ways, and treacherous beyond the hope of trust and escape of pain, from pain. Feels purposeful just to look. This is our function every day when we come together, just to look. That's all with Jesus. Lori said it so beautifully this morning. My only function is really to look with Jesus. And he reminded me, it was a good reminder, that's our only function, is to look with him and let him take care of everything else. Ask him so you can hear him. Will you take care of everything else? Just like I did for Helen. She was willing. We have to be willing for him to do it. Yes, he helped her find a coat, but he's so willing for so much more. Like when we say no, she wouldn't let him do all those things for her, he says. It's just a symbol in our minds that we don't want him to do everything because we like the control button. I'm in control button. Jesus, will you take care of all the minutia? Ask him. Just so I can look. Just, will you help me clear my schedule so there's nothing of greater value than this joining? Hear what he says. Nothing's more valuable than joining with a brother or being with mighty companions that are devoted to this truth. Is there nothing more important than that? And hear what he says. Not a single thing more important. He is the only way to find the peace that God has given us. His is the only way. Jesus, is your way the only way to find the peace that God has given us? And hear that answer. Would we follow his way? Because the ego wants its way for sure. Show me that. Jesus, do I still want it my way? Or am I willing to let it be the way of God, your way? The way of truth and light and peace and ease. What we really don't want is ease. Is that right, Jesus? Yes, that's what he's saying. You don't want ease. The ego doesn't want ease. The person is an entire belief that there is no ease to life. He's promising ease. Jesus, are you promising me ease and lightness? Yes, and he's saying, just look with me at the desire for it not to be easy. Jesus, do I have a desire below my level of awareness for it not to be easy and light? And if I do, would you help me see that another way? That's why we have to step off into prompts, because we can never see how light it is. That's why the consciousness doesn't want to follow prompts, because it wants to keep that little fiefdom of hard work. Jesus, do I still relish a fiefdom of working hard for something? Do I still relish a fiefdom of working hard to be who I am? Okay, I'm willing to see that. Show me the desire, the relishing of working hard just to be who I am. And you start to see, almost laugh, because it's pretty ludicrous. When you see that the light's not working for anything. Is the light working to be what it is? Infinite light. Have a little project to do something in there. A little project for the next choice it's going to make. That's why we start laughing so hard in these sessions, because we see, oh my gosh, I really want something I can never have. Jesus, do I want something? Is consciousness wanting something it can never be? That's the whole gig, is us wanting to be something we can never be. Oh my gosh, it's humbling. What was I thinking? Jesus goes, exactly. He says, you're thinking a lot of nothingness. We're thinking a lot of nothingness. Yeah, there's this little part of the video, this new video that Dyra and I collaborated on. It's so beautiful. Well, actually, Kelly, you start seeing everyone's ball. Kelly helped find the pictures and the videos. We're like inspiring each other. It's just so gorgeous. And there's a part of it in their little video with all these letters just flying around in there. Just flying around in there. Dyra's going, I was like, oh, that's exactly what's happened. All these thoughts and feelings are just flying around, and we get out a little net. I love that Muji says, you're not a container for thought. And that's really what the desired experience. Ask him, Jesus, do I like being a container for all these thoughts? Love it. Relish it. He's pointing right to what we relish. But anyway, this little part of the video, if you want, you'll just see the little letters flying around in there. We like catching them with a net and then holding on to them, and then trying to put a bunch of letters together to mean something. And see if the light's actually going in there and trying to catch letters and thoughts and images to hang on to them. Not a container for thought. Oh, Jesus, but do I want to be Jesus? Do I want to be a container for thought? I relish like taking those little thoughts out playing Scrabble in my head, getting whole sentences in there. And then those bloom out into little pictures of my out picturing of what the world to look like. He says, even when you know that is impossible, you still like it. Okay, just admit it. Then we don't have to take it so seriously. His is the only way to find the peace that God has given us. It is His way that everyone must travel in the end, because it is this ending God Himself appointed. Okay, I'll look at that. Jesus, is this the only way that everyone must travel? He says you can have certainty in this. Just feel the certainty in it. This is the way that must be traveled. God's way. Yeah, we like that map, like pulling out a map. This is hilarious. What was the name of that movie where they're trying to decide where to go, and then this bird poops on it and it lands in a place, and they said, oh, we'll go there. Mm-hmm. Can you remember the name of that movie? I can't remember. It's really adorable movie. Anyway, but I can see it. He's showing me a map, like how we really like. He'll put his finger right there on a map for us, and he'll go, how about here? And we'll go, well, Jesus, how? And then here's it on the map, and he's showing us this direct way to go, and like see how like you can just watch him. He'll show you how you like make like all the detours. Oh, I think, yeah. Oh, all right. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you want me to go to Branson, Missouri, or wherever, Branson, Missouri. And then let me see, I think I'll go through, I love Disneyland. So I'm going to go through. He's going, it's 1 mile away. You can just walk down the street. No, but Jesus, I really like Disneyland, and I'm kind of wanting to visit Hollywood and go. And he puts his finger down on the map. He says, no, right here. No, it's, that's how consciousness plays. It's right here. Like you don't even have to walk an inch to see who you are. But since you think you do, I'll let you walk down the street. You can walk, but you're going to see whether you're standing in this part of the street or you're here, you actually go sit down and watch Dolly Parton in the theater in Branson, Missouri. You're still the light. You're still the light, but you're not supremely happy because you want to boot the light out of your awareness and say, okay, but the light's not here. Every prompt is to show you that the light's here. But that's why the last thing we want to do is follow. No, I don't want to follow. No, I don't want to follow that prompt. But what we don't see, or we don't see, consciousness plays like this. The prompt is to see where we're trying to boot the light out of our mind. That's what. Ask Jesus. Is that all the prompt is? Yes, that's all it is. And to save us from suffering. Because when we say no to the prompt, we're saying, I prefer suffering instead. That's all it is. But we fight with the prompt. Like, so we suffer over the prompt. So we suffer hearing the prompt because we don't want to look at the prompt. And the prompt is always look and see that love is here right now. That's the first prompt. And then we like to, go out on the soccer field and kick the prompt around. Anyway, look at it. Oh, it's going to be painful, and I'm going to have to, and Jesus is taking away, and it goes right into the future to show all the things Jesus is going to do if we follow that prompt. God's going to punish me. I'm going straight to hell. No, it's just to see that right here, right now, the egos, we're believing that the ego can find an excuse to boot the light out of our mind right here, right now. that we do not, in consciousness is a play of not wanting to recognize that light is here. It hasn't gone anywhere. And then we get in an argument. See, that's another thing about prompts. It's like defend against it. I don't care. Jesus is going to love me anyway, even if I do. That's the argument against divine light right here, right now. To see how that plays? And until we step into the power to say, no, Jesus knows where my happiness is. Like, he's the one. He is the only way to find the peace that God has given us. His is the only way. The atonement is given for this. The reason I'm asking Jesus if I can eat so many students in 30 years of the course, because they're not following him explicitly. It's very fast. And they're not looking directly. There's not a willingness to look directly. Now, it's not to judge anything in form, because it's all, but Jesus saying yes to say it, and that must be what's most helpful. You can spend a lot of time in a spiritual community and not wake up. Because if you don't follow him explicitly, you can't wake up. Because it's going through the motions. Do you see? We're kind of going through the motions without this direct, and having him specifically guide what you're looking at, like moment to moment. What do I need? That's why he says, what do I need to see? What's most helpful right now for healing the mind? Show me right. And that's why he's training us through these joinings. Join and ask me. Join and ask me. So we get in the habit of asking him what to look at, to remind us that he's in control of the atonement. Otherwise, we're bumbling around. We can be in a spiritual community and still bumble around. We can be in any situation and still bumble around. There's no difference until that turning into looking, to really, okay, give it to me. I'm, that. And it's acceptance of divine power, to accept the prompts as they're given and just go, yes. And just everything else gets set aside other than that prompt. Because you'll see, even, and Lori was talking about it this morning, and we all have experienced this. Anyone who's looking, you just start to look at Jesus at the desire. The mind goes, floats up into the ether of what you did when you were 3. Or pictures start coming. It's everything to keep from looking at desire for the experience. Fear comes up. You're too high up. Go back wanting. Okay, I really want this fear right now. The wanting of it. Anything but not to stand with Jesus. And just like Lori was saying, it's so easy when I just stand with him and look, that's all I'm to do. That's all. Ask him, is there anything else? No, he's just saying, just look with me. That's it. But just see how the play in consciousness is to do absolutely anything other than that. Go work out, go for a meal. It's just the not looking. It's not the meal. God's going to deprive me of a meal. No, God's going to deprive me of it. That's the not looking, to see, is God really going to deprive me of that? It's just not looking directly. His is the only way to find peace that God has given us. It is his way that everyone must travel in the end, because it's this ending God himself appointed. In the dream of time, it seems to be far off. So we'll just ask him, Jesus, do I have a desire for an experience where the ending, being with God, seems far off? The wanting. And do I relish the dream of time, end of the dream of time seeming far off, and see how much that's relished? to extend out time. Is there anywhere in my mind where I'm trying to extend out time? Will you show me directly? Can I have a miracle for that? He says that's what miracles are for. To admit, to clear the denials. And yet, in truth, it is already here. And then we look and we go, wait a minute, the light's already here. The solution's here. Already serving us as gracious guidance in the way to go. Let us together follow in the way that truth points out to us. Together. So great. And let us be the leaders of our many brothers who are seeking for the way but find it not. Meaning to lead by example of being what he says and seeing no error. Is that the only way, Jesus, is to see no error, be what you're teaching? You have to be his teaching. At first, he's teaching us to teach his teaching so that we can hear it going through us. We can learn from it. Because there's no purpose, there's no one out there. He's really showing, he's pointing to now. See that there's no one out there for you to teach. You can't teach. It's impossible. You can just express divine being. Jesus, is there a teacher or a learner? In truth. Yet he uses that as long as there's a belief that there's a teacher and a learner. But even that has to fall away. Ask him. And to this purpose, let us dedicate our minds, directing all our thoughts to serve the function of salvation. That is so brilliant. So many spiritual traditions try to stop thought. Thoughts arise out of desire for them. So it's wonderful. It's much easier to shift from thoughts of death to thoughts of God. See, it's a transition until all thoughts fall away. He's really making this light. To have the discernment of the thoughts of God, thoughts of love, thoughts of unity, thoughts of happiness, thoughts, until the thoughts just, there's no thought needed to know what we are. Our thoughts to serve the function of felt salvation, which are the thoughts of God that he gives. Unto us, the aim is given to forgive the world. It is the goal that God has given us. It is his ending to the dream we seek and not our own. His ending. Okay, Jesus, your ending. The happy ending, actually. That's the happy ending he's pointing to. For all that we forgive, we will not fail to recognize as part of God himself, and thus his memory is given back completely and complete. It is our function to remember him on earth as it is given to us to be his own completion in reality. So let us not forget our goal is shared, for it is that remembrance that contains the memory of God. That's good. Let's look at that deeply. So let us not forget our goal is shared with the Father, for it is that remembrance which contains the memory of God. See that it's shared with God, shared with Jesus. That's relaxing, and points the way to him and to the heaven of his peace. Yeah, because the ego's like an anti-sharing device. It's like antimatter for yeah, so the sharing. And shall we not forgive our brother who can offer this to us? See the sharing, the true sharing of the goal with our brother. God, he turns everything. He turns even goals back onto themselves so that we share the common goal of seeing what's true. He is the way, the truth, and life that shows the way to us. In him resides salvation, offered us through our forgiveness given unto him. We will not end this year without the gift our Father promised to his Holy Son. We are forgiven now. We are saved from all the wrath we thought belonged to God and found it was a dream. We are restored to sanity, in which we understand that anger is insane, attack is mad, and vengeance merely foolish fantasy. We have been saved from wrath because we learned we were mistaken. Nothing more than that. Jesus, is this just one big old boo-boo? Let's see if he says no. Is this just one old error of thought? And is a father angry at his son because he failed to understand the truth? Is our Father mad at us? Let's just ask Jesus. No. The prodigal son. He liked playing out there, dinking around, stirring up dust, being starving, being poor. He relished it. Ask Jesus. He didn't talk about the prodigal son, how much he relished that adventure. But at some point he had to admit, this is not so fun. Let's go back to dad. We come in honesty to God and say we did not understand and ask him to help us learn his lessons through the voice of his own teacher. Would he hurt his son? That's such a great question to ask, isn't it? Would God hurt his son? Like, that's all we have to see. It's like ridiculous. Does God's son like pretending like he can hurt himself? That's humbling when you hear yes. Or would he rush to answer and say, this is my son and all I have is his? Seems easier, doesn't it? Just to admit that he's already given us everything. Be certain he will answer thus, for these are his own words to you. And more than that can no one ever have, for in these words is all there is, and all that there will be throughout all time and in eternity. That's beautiful. Lessons 361 to 365. This holy instant I would give to you. Be you in charge. For I would follow you, certain that your direction gives me peace. And if I need a word to help me, he will give it to me. If I need thought, that he will also give. To let him give us thoughts. Wow. Okay. Jesus, will you give me the thoughts? And here, yes. And if I need but stillness and a tranquil, open mind, these are the gifts I will receive of him. He is in charge by my request, and he will hear and answer me because he speaks for God, my Father, and his Holy Son. Just feels really good to sit with that. Sit as the holy instant just for a few minutes. Will we ever just sit still and just like let God love us as he wants to, as is his, just sit with infinite love. Like praising the name of God in our hearts, in Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you for my brother. Love from San Juan, Costa